to the chances of this state to actually generate economic recovery and employment, which we need so badly. So the motion in the Dáil tonight is to force a vote on this. I want to stress that whatever happens in the vote tonight, this battle is not over. This is really an attempt to escalate a campaign that has been going on for some time, spearheaded by groups like the Woodland League and Keep Ireland Open. We're also delighted that in recent times the Irish Timber Association, the Impact members working in Quilta itself, Mountaineering Ireland and many other environmental groups and stakeholders have all come out publicly and appealed to the government not to sell off our state forestry. In fact, really, there is virtually nobody who knows anything about forestry, who knows anything about our environment, or frankly who has any interest in the welfare of this country, who thinks that this is a good idea, except for it seems the Troika and the current government. But what we do feel is the public are not aware that this is going on. In Britain, recently when David Cameron's government suggested that the state forestry there would be sold, there was a proper public consultation, there were 40,000 public submissions, and such was the outcry and outrage of English people against Cameron's proposal that it was shelved immediately. Here, the government have obviously learned the lesson of what happened in Britain and have had no public consultation. So the public do not know that their state forests are about to be sold out from under their feet, literally. So we are here to ring the alarm bells to say that is happening. And what I hope, whatever happens in the Dáil with the vote tonight, and we're not confident the government are going to vote with our motion, we need this to be the beginning of a serious escalation of this campaign to bring public awareness about the threat to our state forestry. Because if the government do agree to sell it off, they will have to bring legislation themselves to the Dáil, and when that happens, if they decide to go ahead with it, we need thousands of people outside here, and we need a massive nationwide and indeed international campaign against the plan to sell off state forests. And I just want to say finally, before we start to make a bit of noise, that it's really important to understand that this has been done nowhere else in Europe. What our government is proposing to do is unprecedented. There is not a single country in the European Union that has sold off its entire state forestry, or indeed any substantial amount of it. As I said, in Britain, when they even suggested it, there was an outcry and they were forced to abandon it. The only other country that partially, but only partially privatised some of their forests was Sweden, and within a few years, public outrage forced them to take it back into public ownership. So we would be doing something unique and terrible in Europe in giving away our public forestry. And we have to prevent that from happening. And it will depend on the people here being active and letting people know what is going on. Now we'll have others like the Woodland League and others get up and speak to you during the course of the protest, but maybe we'll make a bit of noise to let those inside know that there is going to be determined opposition to their plans. So, what do we want? Save our forests! What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
Maybe if people face out to the road. Sorry, I think it's better for the camera. What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save our forests!
When do we want it?
Now!
We, I know, yeah, no. Sorry. And Kenny, hear us say, privatisation, no way! 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 Our forests not for sale! Our forests not for sale! Our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
our forests
Not for sale!
No guarantee they have to provide
trees, not for sale! Our trees!
Go back into the man.